Okay, so apparently Japan is having a more hardline stance against immigration, especially from Islamic countries. So before we get into it, make sure to subscribe, like, leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor for all of your real estate needs in Miami and the greater South Florida area. And you can support the channel via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. Let's get into it.
A rare dissenting voice in Japan's otherwise orderly society. These nationalists want to restore what they see as a great Japan, sovereign, militarily powerful, and strict on immigration.
Foreigners who risk disturbing public order in Japan aren't welcome. There are the Chinese, for example, and also the Kurds who people have been talking about lately. At night, they create disorder everywhere. They do things that break the rules, not to mention all the drug-related issues.
Hiroshi Kawahara founded one of these ultra-nationalist groups 25 years ago. He wants anti-foreigner policies to be implemented and dreams of restoring the emperor as the head of the country. We followed him during one of their gatherings. Their goal today is to honour Japanese soldiers who died in combat during the Second World War.
We celebrate this day with pride. Even though our ancestors lost the war, their determination was honourable. On one hand, they liberated Asia and Africa, and on the other, they ensured Japan's survival and self-defence, preserving our country's independence.
It's an event that is seen as provocative by neighbouring countries. For some historians abroad, the Japanese never liberated Asia or Africa. Instead, they view it as colonisation. Taiwan in 1895, Korea in 1910, and in the early 20th century, the occupation of the Philippines, Malaysia, and Manchuria, a region in northern China. In Japan, nationalist sentiment appears to be rising again. Last October, Sanai Takeishi, a leading figure of the ultra-conservative right, was elected Prime Minister. She wants to limit immigration and increase the country's military spending. This political climate is emboldening racist rhetoric among part of the population. Mohammed Nazir has lived in Japan for 40 years. Originally from Sri Lanka, he is a Muslim and has fully integrated into local culture. He speaks fluent Japanese and plays an active role in community life in his neighbourhood. But a few months ago, he became the target of racist insults.
Everything started, I think, in November. I never thought I will get such a message inside Japan through a Japanese. So that's first time in my life. So after being here for a long time, and I was a bit sad.
Mohammed says these hateful messages only come from a very small minority of Japanese people.
The new mosque last year, there was no such things up to last year. To survive Japan, they need a lot of foreigners. And even all the foreigners, if they say at once we are leaving here, and Japan, they have to close most of the factories, industries, and even the shops.
Japan is a country of 122 million people. It has an ageing society and is facing a severe labour shortage. Today, the archipelago is being forced to cautiously open up after being historically inward-looking for centuries. In Kawaguchi, a suburb of Tokyo, some residents complain that the Kurdish community has become too large. They represent around 2,000 people out of a population of more than 600,000. This politician has made the issue the central focus of his campaign. A far-right candidate, he hopes to be elected mayor of the city. He does not want Japan to follow the Western model of immigration.
When a Japanese person applies for welfare, there are often complications, and the request is rarely approved. But for foreigners, benefits are granted much more quickly. If I become mayor, I will put an end to this.
Faced with growing immigration, Japan's leaders have plenty of decisions to make. According to this expert, the government must implement a real integration policy for foreigners.
Japan should establish a Japanese language education system for foreigners and allow their children to enter Japanese schools so they can receive the same education, grow up in Japan, and later hold the same jobs as Japanese citizens with equivalent salaries.
In 2024, Japan lost nearly 910,000 citizens, the direct consequence of a record low birth rate and a population ageing at high speed. Foreign labour is more necessary than ever, and yet, amid a nationalist surge, Tokyo continues to tighten its immigration policies.
Very interesting. These Asian countries do have very low birth rates. I believe in China, you can only have one child per family. They have such large populations that they want to diminish. They want to decrease the number of civilians in their respective countries. But in the long run, that is how you die out. I mean, it's how you go extinct. And naturally, they're going to start wanting to bring in foreign workers. The pay would be lower. This is what countries around the world do. But it presents an issue because people want to preserve their way of life. And Asian people can be extremely friendly and well-mannered, but I think they also, being that they tend to be so intelligent, they can kind of see things down the road. They're looking at what's happening in the West and they're saying, we don't want to go down that path. So I don't know what's going to be there. I do think Asian countries are not going to allow these things to happen the way it has in France, Holland, the Netherlands, obviously the UK. I don't see it getting to that point in Asian countries. But definitely want to hear your thoughts on the matter. Um, it's just an interesting thing. It's interesting it's an interesting thing to see how the right wing and the left wing play out in every single country I do reaction videos on. And this tends to be such a common challenge where the right wing are very patriotic. The left wing could be patriotic in their own right too, but the right wing are very patriotic. They don't like multiculturalism. They don't like diversity. They want to keep one primary ethnic group or culture. If they do allow it, they only allow it to exist with like-minded people. So, for example, the Poles might be okay with Ukrainians. The Japanese may be okay with South Koreans or certain Chinese or Taiwanese or Vietnamese, but they're not going to want people from Sri Lanka or Indonesia, Muslims. They want people who are either exactly the same as they are or from a similar cut cloth. That's definitely the way it seems. So, with that said, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, follow me at Rafi the Realtor for all of your real estate needs in the Miami and greater South Florida area, and you can support the channel via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. Until next time, peace.